Hello everybody. This video will be about how to see the fourth dimension. Quick recap. Everything starts from the zero dimension. What is the zero dimension? It is the source. It is the point. It is the womb. It is the great mother. From that point, energy, light, shoots out, causing a straight line. That becomes the first dimension. Eventually, that line will turn, and then turn, and then turn, and end up back at source, becoming a square, also known as the second dimension. Now, the thing about the square is, it can look down onto the first dimension, which is the original line, and the first dimension can look back down onto the zero dimension from where it originated, the source. Eventually, after the square returns to source, a third dimension is added. So it's initially length, then width, now it's height, the up dimension. And eventually, by exploring the up dimension long enough, which is also causing more squares, you create, in a sense, a holographic image, but it's not really a hologram. It's kind of both. It's complicated. It's really complicated. But it becomes a cube. It is a cube because that is the pathway of all the light energy coming from the original source. And that's how environments get born, all of existence, all the way down to planets. I've also figured it out, that a square is a circle, which is very interesting. So now the cube is able to view down onto the second dimension. It's looking down onto the second dimension. See, it's looking down. We are in the third dimension and we can look down onto the second dimension. Even the first dimension, if we train our eyes or play, let's call it optical illusions. Can we see a zero? The zero dimension? Does that mean having our eyes closed? Meditating? No thought? Hard to say. I don't know. I'm not that advanced yet. But the idea is, every dimension is able to see the dimensions below. So the third can see the second, first, and possibly the zero. The second can see the first and possibly the zero. And the first can only see the zero. So then, how do we see things from the fourth dimension? Well, the only way to do that is to perceive reality itself from the fourth dimension. So if you had length, if you had width, if you had height, what is the extra dimension you have to add to see things from that perspective? And the reality is very simple. Everything in existence that we interact with is putting out light, including yourself, as it originates from the source. Now, there are things born not of the source, but let's not talk about that right now. So you are born of the source. Everyone is. Even though you are a prime creator now, because everyone is. Thoughts create reality. You're getting to a point where you want to evolve beyond the cube, right? So then, what is this fourth dimension? How do you see yourself from the fourth dimension in this physical dimension without the body being in the fourth dimension itself? How? Is it even possible? And the answer is, it is. So how to see it? Here, I will demonstrate it for you. I will demonstrate it for you. You see the light? You see the light rays? You see the shadow on the ground? But wait a minute. Where's the shadow coming from? Because the light I just showed you was up there. Well, the shadow is coming because there's a different light source straight ahead. As that light is hitting the back of my head right now, part of my face and my body, I can see the shadow it's creating on the ground of myself. I wish I could show it to you. It's black because the light from that light pole is going everywhere except in the area which it would hit if I was not standing here. Which means my entire body is absorbing that light that would normally be hitting the ground. So then, if that light is hitting me, which means it's merging with my physical body and perhaps etheric body, what is it doing to me? Well, if you are able to perceive the messages from the light, then in a sense, you are able to see yourself before you see yourself. Because that light could have a thought form meant to implant an idea in your head. And if you don't know about it, and the idea comes to your head, then you didn't realize it came from a different source. But if you saw it coming to your head, and then you think about the idea, then you realize that's your fourth dimensional self of seeing yourself.